Alright, so all 22 footage is out now, and so I wanted to go and look at the Bengals offense. Let's look at this now that we can see everybody on the field. We can see the secondary and see what went right and wrong for Cincinnati. Because, you know, a lot of people have kind of ran with the narrative of, oh, it was just pressure. Burrow couldn't get anything going because he was under pressure all day, which, okay, that was obviously true to some degree, but I feel like that's typically lazy analysis. There's always more to it than just pressure, so let's talk about everything that went wrong, some of which we saw on the broadcast footage as well. So, like, for example, something like this was a key play, and we saw this on the broadcast, but it's going to be man coverage, and you have a halfback running a route that, you know, halfback against a linebacker, this stuff can work. Look at how right when this play begins, you're going to notice that the linebacker tries to initiate contact and doesn't do a great job of it. So Burrow, who has a clean pocket here, all he has to do is throw this up, and this could be a big chunk play. There is an outside chance this could be a touchdown. Now, I don't think it would be. I think the safety had a pretty good read on it, but it's still probably getting you to about the 50-yard line or so, and this is on a third down and medium. Burrow instead is going to airmail it right here. So just a missed throw from Burrow. He wasn't missing throws left and right, but I do kind of want to establish there was stuff there that Cincinnati wasn't able to fully hit on. That absolutely happened in this football game. You know, I'm not saying it was happening all the time, but it happened. And I actually thought a play like this was really a key issue with the Cincinnati Bengals, and kind of the more I'm thinking about it, the more I realize, like, you know what, Zach Taylor does deserve some blame for this, and I was kind of giving him some praise early on. I thought he did some nice things, but really watching this all 22, it really kind of hammers home how conservative of a game plan he had. A play like this, it's just going to be a quick, you know, it's a pick play to get the ball to your halfback. It really felt like he just, I mean, listen, I get why you don't trust the offensive line, but he really did not trust his offensive line and was trying to get the ball out of Burrow's hands quickly. The issue is, in doing that, now your best player does not have the football in his hands, and I'd probably say Burrow is their best player, at least most valuable player, because, you know, of the position he plays. And look, as you see, Burrow is going to just flip the ball to Joe Mixon, but Jamar Chase didn't do a great job on that play of finishing off, you know, his side of the bargain of running the pick there, which allowed the linebacker to get over and make a quick tackle on Joe Mixon. So little things like that didn't go right, and when you run this kind of more conservative style approach, you have less room for error. You make a mistake, and now all of a sudden you might be facing third and long, and your offensive line can't block on third and long. Let's go over here now, because listen, not all pressure is on the offensive line either. This is something I'm big on talking about, and I want to be very clear. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I think the biggest reason the Rams were able to shut down the Bengals offense was because of pressure. I don't think there's any denying that. But sometimes it was stuff like this, where I've circled an LA player, and, you know, they were blitzing a decent amount in this game, which surprised me, because typically Cincinnati's very good against the blitz. However, part of that is because typically when you blitz them, well, they have guys that get open right away and they can throw it to them. That didn't really happen as much in this game. But also just like simple mistakes like what's happening here. So look at how, I mean, he's clearly showing that he's blitzing, right? You can clearly tell that there's at least a good chance this could be a blitz. And so what would you do? I mean, I've showed where the offensive line is going to be blocking. The center is going to be shifting to his right, meaning that on the offense's left, there's an empty backfield and there's no tight end blocking on this play. So basically what this means is that for the player who I've circled for LA, who's supposed to be blocking him, there's literally nobody that can block him. And this is something Burrow should have picked up on and helped his offensive line out. Told his center to pay attention to that, you know, that these are the things you do have to pay attention to. Instead, what you're going to see is that there's just immediate pressure. Burrow scrambles out, but at this point, the play has all been blown up because you can't look downfield. Aaron Donald ends up getting credited for a sack there with him being able to finish it up. But, like, you ended up on that play just leaving 3 guys on Aaron Donald because also an edge rusher dropped back into coverage. So it was just a 4-man rush, but it was kind of set up like a blitz. And it's something that, quite frankly, Burrow should have been able to pick up on, I think. So again, I don't want to crush Joe Burrow. It's not like he was bad necessarily. It's not like he was the reason they lost. I'm just saying that there were other things at play here. It wasn't just the offensive line sucks. Like, this plays another great example of kind of, you know, there's this great pass rush. So what do you have to do against a great pass rush? You have to get rid of the ball quickly, right? That's what you have to do. Well, what do you do if they're playing man coverage and consistently being able to cover up guys quickly and no one's getting open quickly? This was literally the first time all year for Cincinnati. Teams were playing like man coverage and teams were blitzing and guys weren't getting open immediately because they have this great receiving core, but the Rams have this great secondary. It's the first time the Bengals had to deal with this. Look at how right when this play begins, what you're going to see is right here, that's where Burrow's first read is, and it's not open. And quite frankly, when the pressure is coming this quickly, like other guys might end up getting open, but the reality is you have to hit your first read typically. You typically don't have time to get to maybe you'll have time to get to your second read. You're not going to be able to go through 7 different progressions here. You're going to have to be able to get rid of the ball quickly. But for Joe Burrow, it's like, well, what do you do? Do you force this one into traffic and potentially turn the ball over? You don't want to do that. You're winning. You don't want to give them that momentum. So you do kind of have to play it safe, but this is where a lot of the sacks would come from. Burrow looks up, first read isn't open, and then boom. As you see, Donald takes Burrow down and gets the sack. So again, and these are quick sacks too. So I want to be very clear. This is, a really good job by this Rams defensive line. And this is why having, an elite defensive line and an elite pass rush can add so much value to your football team. This plays another one that I just thought was a classic example of the offensive line's getting blamed here, but this was not on the offensive line entirely. It's, again, partially on the offensive line, but it's going to be a cover 3 zone blitz right here. So there's a blitz already. So the halfback is going to have to pick up a blitz. But the nice thing about the zone blitz is the gaps in coverage are going to be wider. Look at how right when this play begins, you see kind of that over the middle that there are not just 1, but 2 Cincinnati players who are wide open, and there's a big gap to throw to. So for Joe Burrow, who appears to be looking in that direction, I don't know why he didn't make this decision. I just don't. I don't get why he didn't throw the ball there. I don't get what he was thinking. You got to get rid of the football. And I kind of think to some degree, Burrow had gotten away with so much being able to scramble in these past few games that he was looking to use that in this game. And I can't say I blame him entirely. It just didn't work. He starts to scramble, quickly realizes that's not going to work out, and just takes the sack instead. Had he gotten rid of the football, they pick up a first down. And these are a difference between, continuing a drive and not continuing a drive are little things like this. So that happened. This was on tape. This is a very real thing that happened. I think stuff like this, you could argue, is a reason to blame the Bengals. I don't know. I think this is where things get a little bit tricky. And this was probably, I think I might be coming off a little harsh on Cincinnati. Like, listen, it's tough to play the Rams defense. Like, there's no denying that. The Rams have a great defense. You have to make your decisions quickly. You have to try and find a way to get guys open quickly. All of that stuff. But still, that doesn't mean we can't criticize them at all. Look at how on this play, it is a third down, and I have to get to the 43-yard line. And if Burrow wanted to simply just hit the halfback here, he could just make a quick check down to Pirine and hope that Pirine can make a move and pick up the first down. Now, I get why Burrow didn't do this, and this was happening a lot throughout the course of this game, and Burrow was, instead of taking the check down, taking sacks. But the reason is because he wants to see if he can get something open on this third down and relatively long. We can talk back and forth about, is it the right strategy? Is it the wrong strategy? But it certainly didn't work out. There's no denying that. And in hindsight, it would have been better for them to take a lot of quick check downs and hope that you can just make one guy miss instead of trying to get open 15 yards down the field, because it's hard to do that against LA. Look, as you see, the pressure comes quickly. Burrow gets sacked again. That's kind of what happens there, especially when it's a blitz. You do have to get rid of the ball relatively quickly, and especially against the Rams, you have to get rid of the ball relatively quickly. So yeah, listen, there's a lot of things that went poorly. The bottom 4 graded players for the Bengals were all offensive linemen, so yeah, that was a real issue. That's something the Bengals are going to have to really, in the future, make sure they improve upon. But, it's important in these situations to don't just make one scapegoat and say everything else was fine. No, there was some mistakes from Burrow. He's a young player. It makes sense. He's not Tom Brady quite yet. Okay, he's got a little bit more work to do to get there. Zach Taylor coached too conservative, I thought, on some of these play calls. I didn't think it was as bad as some people are saying, but still, that happened. Hey, guess what? So did Sean McVay in his first Super Bowl. It's okay. Guys weren't getting open, and I think part of that is just the Rams cover well. It's kind of a difficult team to play against. They did this to everybody. The Rams make every offense look bad, and they made the Bengals offense look bad in the Super Bowl. Kind of is what it is. So the real thing, I think, the real takeaway, give credit to the Rams defense. They're very good. The secondary and the defensive line playing as well as they did just made things so difficult for the Bengals to get much going. They still got those couple of long touchdowns. Ramsey didn't have a great day, but other than that, really good performance from the Bengals defense, or excuse me, from both defenses, but specifically from the Rams defense. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on all of this? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.